A new season is underway as the UIM F1 H2O World Championship begins its 37th year as the toughest, fastest, and fiercest racers on water lock horns for another season of thrills, spills, excitement, glory, and sometimes heartache as they set out in their quest for the most prestigious World Championship title in international powerboat racing. The year-long marathon will be contested around the globe as tens of thousands watch on to witness the intense spectacle that is F1 H2O racing. The 2020 UIM F1 H2O World Championship will be contested over an anticipated 8 Grand Prix across Europe, Asia, and the Middle East. The new season was scheduled to get underway in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia in March, followed by round 2 in Portimao, Portugal, but due to recent global health and safety concerns, the first 2 rounds of the year have been postponed. After another Grand Prix scheduled in Europe with a venue yet to be announced, the tour would then head over to the Far East for 2 Grand Prix in China, including a return to Xiamen. The 5th and 6th Grand Prix remain to be announced, both in Asia, the latter to be raced in India, before the last Grand Prix of the year in Sharjah in the United Arab Emirates, which has hosted the season finale since 2004. It promises to be another incredible year of racing, along with all the celebration, glamour, and festivities that goes into a 3-day F1 H2O event. It's not just a race, it's a lifestyle. Nine teams and 18 drivers are ready to kick off their campaign for the UIM F1 H2O World title in 2020 with extraordinary depth of talent and a bevy of former World and Grand Prix winners. The 2020 season will provide an exciting mix of experience and youth as veteran champions seek to relive past glories and newcomers try to stake their claim and make a name for themselves. Of the 18 drivers in 2020, 4 are multiple world champions, boasting 10 titles between them. Alex Corella with 4, Philip Schiapp with 3, Sammy Celio and Sean Torrente with 2 apiece. There are also 9 Grand Prix winners. The man on top with the last 2 world titles under his belt is American Sean Torrente. The defending 2-time world champion gets his 2020 campaign off once again with Team Abu Dhabi, with whom he's won both his world titles.
So yeah, I'm really happy. I've re-signed with Team Abu Dhabi for the next 2 years. I got 2 years guaranteed, which is great. We really fit well. I love the guys, and I love the way they work. Not to mention, I race the other stuff with them as well. So it's great to just be on one team, be in one place. It definitely feels like a second home, more than any other place that I've been, for sure. 2 more years. You're gonna have to put up with me for 2 more years. That's what I told all the guys yesterday. They were really excited and happy, and it's a great feeling when you tell your guys and they're as excited as you are, because it feels good. This sport doesn't need to be just about high-budget teams. I've been on both, and I've had success in both ways. And I think the fact that Jonas has been so competitive this year, he did have Emirabadi, which helped, obviously, but we know what happened there. It's been great for the sport. I'd like to sit here and say everybody loves to watch us win all the time in Abu Dhabi, but we're self-aware enough to know that people get sick of it, and we get it, and I'm self-aware enough to know that 12 to 14 of the drivers over there are happy if I don't win, because it gives them they feel like they have a chance to win, and I get that. But I'm not going to apologize for it either. I've been in their position, and I've watched the other guy win consistently. We all have our issues. I lost 2 world championships to a champion that won 3 in a row. It still bothers me to this day. It's still the elephant in the room when people talk in the paddock. So it's definitely frustrating, but it's the way it is, right? That's the way it goes.
If anyone knows about the hardships of F1 racing, it's Torrente, who strives to balance family and racing duties year-round, and who has had to overcome major hurdles and tragedy on his way to the top.
Competitiveness, it's a positive thing and a crutch I've had my whole life. It's just the way I was born. But as far as the actual racing part goes, my father raced in a small club in Miami when I was a kid. I was 9, 10 years old. They're boat racing, and it was mini boats is what it was. It was like a 25, a 30, a 40, or a 50 horse engine. Those were the classes. He did really well. He ended up running that deal for a little while, and then he started to try to race nationally and had to get into a capsule, which is basically going from just the boat you're sitting in to what you see today where you're strapped in. This was kind of the time everything was switching. I was 12 or 13. And before that, I had run a bunch of boats, just testing them and just playing with them, nothing serious, and wasn't old enough yet. And he bought his first capsule boat and tried to race, and he just couldn't get used to being strapped in. He just couldn't make the transition. And so one day he was trying to test, and I said, "Well, you know, Dad, let me make a few laps. You know, let me try." He's like, "All right, that's fine." So I strapped into the boat, and I was like 3 seconds a lap faster than he was in like 2 laps. I mean, it was insane. It was crazy. And he's like, "Well, okay, I guess I'm retired." And we lied about my age, and I started racing. So we started racing Formula 2, 45 first, and it was the first real national series. I had won a bunch of races. I'd been world champion in the US. I'd been national champion. We had a race in Clinton, Iowa. I was on pole, first heat, winning the race, way out front. I was coming up, it was only like a 10 or 15 lap heat, and I was coming up to lap the fourth place boat at the time. And I was on the outside, just lapping them. It was a normal race. It was really low stress. It was a heat race. It wasn't a final, nothing crazy. And I'm watching him battle with third place as I'm coming up to lap him, and I see him crossing the rooster tail at the end of the straight, which is a big no-no in a tunnel boat, like especially if you're not really, if you don't have a lot of experience. If you're not really experienced, you don't want to do that. Well, he did it, and when he did it, it rode up the rooster tail and it came down. When it came down, it fell, and when it fell, it turned right. And when it turned right, like it literally turned right, and I saw purple, and it was a crash. It was done. So he died that night. He broke every rib. Done. And at that moment, I think I was 16, 17. My father wanted me to quit, and I couldn't. So my grandfather got in the truck, drove all the way home. It was a 30-hour drive home. Went home, got our other boat, drove all the way back another 30-hour drive to Chicago to race the next weekend, and I raced. If you can't quit after something like that, it's hard to quit.
Racing alongside Sean Torrente once again this year in Team Abu Dhabi is veteran and multiple Grand Prix champion Daniel Kamzi, the former world runner-up seeking that first elusive world title in 2020. One of the biggest rivals to the big-budget, high-profile Team Abu Dhabi is a small but highly accomplished outfit, Team Sweden, led by last year's world runner-up Jonas Andersson, who came within literally a lap of winning his first ever world title before seeing it slip through his fingers. The Team Sweden principal and 7-time Grand Prix winner knows well the hardships of competing in a high-performance motorsport with limited resources.
When I was young, I was racing motocross until I had too many broken bones, and then it was too much problem with my feet and my shoulders, so I have to do something, and I was only 25. My father was racing boats when he was young, and the city where I come from, a very close place to that, they have always a race every summer, and we always go and look at the races, and so I wanted to do something with motorsport, and then I was choosing between some, and then I ended up with boats, and I started racing in '98 in some small class, and then I directly moved to Formula 2, and then I was world champion 2003, 2004. And then I was just lucky to end up here 2006, and then it has just been a fantastic life. Yeah, I mean, our team is... Oh! compared to the other ones, and for sure the budget is very limited. So I mean, the guys is with me, they are working almost for free, so it's just lucky for me that I have them. I am the only one who is only doing living on it and working with them in his home, and the rest of the guys is have normal jobs, and also my wife has a normal work. So it's yeah, it's tricky for us to get it together, but it's the only way we can find a new sponsor for next year. Otherwise, it's going to be a big problem.
This year, Anderson welcomes a rookie to the team, 22-year-old driver Kalle Vipo from Forza, Finland, who will race the number 15 Team Sweden boat, replacing Eric Eden. A big budget behemoth to challenge the likes of Team Abu Dhabi is no doubt CTIC F1 Shenzhen China team, led by 3-time consecutive world champion and 9-time Grand Prix winner Philipp Schiap. After finishing world runner-up in 2017, he's had a tough 2 seasons, going without a single Grand Prix win, and he's looking to regain the form that made him such a dominant force from 2014 to 2016. But the French former world champion's passion for the sport began elsewhere, in endurance racing, before he fell in love with Formula One and became one of the greats of F1 H2O.
I started in 24 hours in endurance, and my passion arrived in endurance with Vhampionnat. It's an incredible race also with 24 hours. And after Vhampionnat, I remember I go on the French Championship in Chalon-sur-Saône, and I see for the first time the crazy driver in Formula One in Chalon-sur-Saône, and I say, wow, Formula One is very, very fast, and I look for the solution to test, and a lot of people, the driver federation say, oh, you cannot drive in Formula One, it's too difficult to find a place, to find the level, to find boat, to find money, sponsor. I say, okay. What is the solution for find the possibility to, and the federation say you do go on the Formula S3000, and after you have you ask for the license on Formula One. If you want find a place, maybe you can test. And okay. I call Philippe de Certain 20 years before, and I say, hi Philippe, I'm Philippe. I race in endurance. I start in my career and I want to drive in Formula One. Can you help me? He say no. I say okay, sorry. And I try again, and we make a deal. It's very lucky for endurance in Rouen, and he raced with me. And for thanks this race in endurance, he say okay, come with me in Sharjah, and the story starts. I start in Formula One in close to 20 years in Sharjah, and it's completely different because when I started, it's a dream to race in Formula One with a top driver, top level, and I finished 3 or 4 years at the end of the paddock, and during the race, it's 3 or 4 laps behind Capellini, behind Celio, behind Gilman, and for me it's impossible to go on the top and finish on the top 3 or top 6. My dream is finish on the top 10. It's a long way, a lot of work, good team, and every year we want to improve. When we have a problem, to find a solution every winter, and step by step we finish on the podium, on the top 6 on the podium, and after the World Championship, the title, it's incredible.
Pre-season preparation is crucial as CTIC F1 Shenzhen China team seeks to regain the world team title, and Schiap tries for a 4th world title.
It's very nice when you have time during the winter for prepare next season, and we have a lot of works every year, and it's a time for check what it's work, what is not work during the season, and try for improve the performance and the fiability. And for sure next year, with the problem we have this year, we have a lot of works if we want to come back on the top next season. Nice, it's very nice, it's a dream. The dream is done for me, but when you win one time, 2 times, 3 times, why not 4? And for sure, my team won't win again, and me also, and we have a nice team, nice sponsor. Again, win the championship, and we have motivation, great motivation for next year.
Schiap's Rouen 24-hour teammate Peter Marin has also made the jump to F1, and he's shown outstanding form and consistency over the last 2 seasons, outracing Schiap himself to become world number 4 in 2018. Another team with big expectations in the new season is the relatively recently formed Sharjah team, who had their maiden year on the F1 H2O Tour in 2019 and are seeking to up the ante in 2020, with 2-time world champion Sami Selio leading the charge alongside his longtime teammate and fellow Finn, Philip Roms. Selio has been trying to repeat his world title wins in 2007 and 2010, and he hopes that with the backing of Sharjah, 2020 will finally be his year.
For the next season we have new stuff coming for sure. We are already, this is first year with the Sharjah team, and we get improving our materials. Next year is the time to have the new boats again, so we are planning now what kind of the boats we will build up for us, and also the engine side we have the new things coming up. We're still very much focusing for these engines, get the more power out of it, get reliability, and we are in the right track. But unfortunately this season went so fast, so we couldn't be ready with all the parts and all the materials what we was aiming having already this year. But that has been postponed for the next season, so for to wait that the season will be starting. Now, step by step, we're getting closer. We have some new crew members, new staff in the team. The team is getting bigger and stronger all the time. So we just need a little bit more time. And next year, starting, we had all the time in our hands, so can't afford to wait that it will start. It's important for sure is the testing. You must have more time to do the testing, properly testing there. Test the engine, test the propeller, test the drivers, have the training for the drivers, especially when you have the new boats. Now we're lacking for that, so the setup also always building up in the races, and that's a little bit gambling, so you choose this prop or the other one when you don't know sure which would be fit better. When you have more testing done, you have more data, and especially now we have good data collector systems what just been launched for our team now, so we really get the data when we do the testing and the laps and whatever, so we can see what areas is not working, and we have been waiting for that system for more than a year, and now it's working, so it's big improvement for our team.
Having raced on the Tour for more than 20 years, Selio has seen it all, experiencing triumphs and heartbreak, escaping big crashes, and having competed with names like Capellini, Gilman, Jones, Carella, Schiap, and Torrente.
I have been born in the boat company, really. Actually, my father and mother was working in the boat company, and we actually living in the industry area at that time when I was born, so always been there. My father used to race with offshore in the national championships. He always built his own boats. Later on he moved for the circuit racing, and when I was the kid, I became 12. There was no junior class in Finland, so my father created this junior class, what my kid is now racing, the SJ10, the small boats. So I always make the joke about that. They never force me, but they never give me the option. So I never get the motorcycle or motocross bike or something go-kart what I was dreaming. I had some other kind of the cars what I was playing in the industry area, driving there, but of course the boat was my passion because I was around the boats all the time. I was 8 years old when I was first time able to sit in Formula 1 boats of Arno Häkkinen in Finland. They storaged that his Formula 1 boat in that time, and was amazing. I always dream about the race or test Formula 1 boat one day, and then step by step we go in bigger classes, and I was quite young age then I was already able to test Formula 1 and start racing with that, so it was amazing. And then you start to compete against the Guido and Scott Gilman, my childhood heroes. What I had posters, hundreds of posters in my room about those racing, and always reading the powerboat magazines and all the race boats and whatever was able to catch it, and those guys. And then in the end, I beat them. So and became world champion in 2007, first time. So it has been a long journey, and it has been giving a lot for me.
The newly formed Gilman Racing Team is led by four-time world champion Scott Gilman, and he's signed up a big name for the 2020 season, Italian four-time world champion Alex Carella, one of the most successful names in the sport, with 16 Grand Prix wins, 16 pole positions, and 31 podiums in 64 races. The Italian ace overcame a double-season slump with a first win in years at the Grand Prix of Chaine in 2019, and he's looking to add a fifth world title trophy to his name with Gilman Racing in the new season as he races alongside American veteran Greg Foster. UAE-based outfit Emirates Racing continues with the same team, former Grand Prix winner Marit Stromoy of Norway heading the lineup as she seeks to build on her first ever year-end podium result, coming in third in 2019 as she begins the new season in a bid to see if she can become the first female UIM F1 H2O champion in history. Her teammate is Polish driver Bartek Marszalek, who had his best ever season in 2019, placing 5th in the year-end standings after a career-best third-place result in Sharjah, which helped Emirates Racing earn a first-ever podium in the world team standings last year. In the Portuguese-based F1 Atlantic team, it's once again 20-year veteran Duarte Benavente leading the charge, hoping to build on his consistent form through the past two seasons. He'll be racing alongside the up-and-coming young Italian Alberto Comparato, who made his debut last year as the youngest driver in the paddock, seeking to build on a promising first full season in 2019, where he finished 10th overall. Today's performance is led by one of the most successful drivers on the tour, Italian Francesco Cantando, with 12 Grand Prix wins and 42 career podiums, the former world runner-up seeking to get back to his winning ways, knowing it's been a decade since his last race win. Cantando welcomes back Simone Bianca-Schuft of Germany, an accomplished racer in various categories including F4, F2, and the Rouen 24-hour, where she was a former runner-up. Maverick F1 is led by team principal and driver Cedric Deguine, who made his F1 debut in 2007 and whose team has won 2 Grand Prix titles. He'll be joined by Brett Stewart of South Africa, who last raced on the F1 H2O circuit in 2012. It's expected to be another incredible year of racing in the UIM F1 H2O World Powerboat Championship.
Wow.